Hi, everybody. What is up? It's 2021, and we have taken some time out of our spring break vacation to host a very special guest. That's right, man. Today, we have with us on our Raising the Bar podcast, we have, as always, the indubitable Coach Warner.
Hey, everybody. Happy
and our
spring
very,
break.
That's right. And our very special guest with us today, Officer Katie Cochran.
Hello.
That's right. Officer, coming up with us today, we are focusing on our new unit this month is working out like it's your job. And so we are focusing on different professions and how the physical requirements of those professions affect those jobs, the effectiveness and efficiency and just the different aspects of it. And as a police officer, you're obviously a member of the public and you had to go to academy and stuff like that. We'll get into that in just a second. Officer, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, without telling too much undercover information.
So my name is Katie Cochran. I was born and raised here in Vegas. I graduated from Coronado High School. While at Coronado, I played basketball, softball. I ended up getting a scholarship to play Division I softball at the University of South Dakota. While there, I majored in kinesiology with emphasis in exercise science and physical therapy. Always thought I wanted to be a physical therapist. Realized didn't want to kind of be sitting around all day doing the same thing over and over again. So while there, I actually kind of started going more towards strength and conditioning side. I went to the University of Hawaii. I did my internship there at University of Manoa, where I worked with the football team, women's and men's basketball team, soccer team, and volleyball team. Absolutely loved it. Awesome time. I ended up going on a ride along, and I realized that was the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. I've always been surrounded by sports my entire life. Love the team aspect of everything, being able to go out, being around people that pretty much have a team. So always with the team, being with the cops, you're always have your squad, you always have a partner. So it's just that same environment that I've thrived in my entire life. It's also pretty fun to go fast in a car and all that. Well, so I decided I kind of wanted to go more towards the police side after being done with my internship. So I came back to Vegas, Henderson, started applying all over, and I got hired on with Henderson back in 2017, and went through the academy, all that stuff, and currently I am on Henderson's problem-solving unit.
Oh, man. I just found out so much information. I just found out so much information. And it's like you're even more of a perfect fit for this particular topic.
Yeah. Officer Cochran, how did you even go on a ride along? Was this in Hawaii that you went on your ride along?
Yeah, so I went on a ride along. So one of the guys that would come to Hawaii at the University of Hawaii, he was a sergeant for the Honolulu police. And so he would talk about it, and I've always been interested. I did my minor in criminal justice at South Dakota. Never really thought policing was a job. I always just thought it was just something there. I never in my entire thought like I considered being a police officer could be a career. And I always had like something in the back that I've always kind of thought it was super interesting, and all that type of stuff. So he offered me to go on a ride along. I absolutely loved it. I knew of someone back here that also was a police officer, and I went on a ride along back here, and I just knew like after going on it that there was like nothing else that I wanted to do. As much passion as I had for softball growing up, I had that passion for like being a police officer. So
wow. That
It's
is
totally
great.
awesome that on just this chance scenario, you know what I mean? You totally figured out your entire career. And it's funny, man, how we can have like one idea of where we think we're going and then something just changes.
Since I was like 6. Like
yeah.
I never got injured in sports. I thought, oh, this is so cool. Like you're being around sports. And I absolutely loved it. So and then just realized that being in an office just wasn't for me, and went on from there.
So when you were in the academy, was the physical training tough? I mean, you were kind of fresh out of college sports and stuff like that. How was that physical? What was that like?
So I mean, the hardest part is just gonna be your everyday. I mean, you're outside. We did ours in July is when my academy started, and so July in Vegas is obviously pretty hot.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest, just that part right there. But it's all doable without a doubt. I mean, you just have to push
Mm.
through. I mean, on like once you start doing like the longer miles, and after they'll make you stop and start doing exercises in the middle, do sprints in the middle, and stuff like that. So it gets where you're like, oh, but just you have people there that are cheering you on. You don't want to let them down. You also don't want to be that person that falls out. So like a run or anything.
Yep.
Push yourself.
Sounds a lot like a CrossFit class.
Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't as bad as like it could have been. There's like obviously people that are older in there that got a little bit harder, but I mean, overall, it was definitely a challenge every day, but it wasn't like out where you're just like, oh, I can't do this.
Right. Right.
Did you go into the academy straight from college then?
I had about so I got done my internship in like October-ish, and then that following July is when I went. So it was about a 6-7 month.
Got ya.
Like, not
Got ya.
But yeah, so it was
Cool.
about couple months in between.
Cool.
If like if you, not necessarily you, but if anybody if you don't pass the test the first time, can you retake it, or like do you have to go through the whole academy again? Like what happens there?
Well, there's all sorts of tests actually. There is so you got like academic tests, you have physical testing. Physical testing wise, if you don't pass, so there's post standards by Nevada Post. In order to be a police officer, you have to pass like a post test, and you have to pass every post physical fitness test. So I think there's like 5 post physical fitness tests in the academy. And if you fail any of those, then you're out. You can't if you so if you fail any of the post tests, then you're out. And you have to they might recycle you depending on the department, recycle you to another academy.
Wow, really? So you got the one shot. So I think we were looking at it. I don't have it here in my notes. It was like a 1.5 mile run, certain amount of sit-ups, certain amount of push-ups.
Yep.
Was it pull-ups? I don't think I saw pull-ups on there.
Push-ups, push-ups, agility tests,
Agility.
300 yards,
300. Yeah.
and then a mile and a half. So for post, those are the ones you all have to do.
Gotcha. Man. And so now you've passed the academy, right?
Yep.
I think you said I didn't want to just sit here and do the same thing day after day after day about physical therapy. Now you totally got no 2 days are the same.
Exactly.
As an officer, how often would you say you actually use like being fit while you're working? How often are you called upon to be like fit?
So I mean, any day is different. It could be almost every day. Pretty much, you have to do something. I mean, the gear we wear is about 30 pounds, 35 pounds. So that alone, just every day, just like going in and out of your car, walking, and it's not always the most comfortable stuff. So I mean, that alone, you're just automatically doing some type of fitness, but where you had to like run, and when you have to like run against stuff, like after like obviously if you have to run for somebody, I was in the middle of an intersection in the middle of the summer having to push a car out of the way, so just stuff like that. You have to like jump a wall, and jumping a wall in this gear is a lot harder than I've ever thought it would be. I remember the first wall I jumped, I just remember thinking like, oh god. I was like, oh no.
I'm trying not to laugh out loud because I think my mic and your mic creates the feedback. I think that's what's happening here. But like, so basically, you're always wearing at least a rucksack.
Yeah.
Like 30, 35 pounds. Jeez,
Yes.
please. Oh my goodness. Coach, you want to ask a question? You good?
Yeah, I'm curious too, like how was, and I think this will be a question maybe for some of our girls too. How was it, going into the academy or going into a career that's primarily dominated, by male presence? How did that feel as a woman?
I feel always like I always feel like I have something to prove. I'm someone that I don't want anything given to me because I'm a female. I'm someone I always want to earn where I'm at, earn my position, and be someone that's valuable to people around. So it was intimidating. And I feel like I usually constantly think about like, oh, I don't want to be that person. So I always have to like step it up some. Like if there's like a hot call, I want to make sure that I'm one of the first ones there. I don't want to like back down if there's like a fight going on. Like I'm not gonna like just stand back. Like I always want to be involved just because I want everyone to like think they can like rely on me and know that if they need something, I'll be for them there for them. So I mean, I'm just someone that I like the challenge. I've grown up playing sports, and I'll push myself just to be as good as the guys. Like I'll race them. I'll do whatever I need to do just to like just try and hold my own.
Just to piggyback on that same question, how well do you think your athletic or sport background prepared you for a job like this?
It is what I think I rely on the most. Even in field training, you do something wrong, you have to learn from that. You can't keep doing the wrong thing. You have to be coachable. And so I think my athletic ability acts 100% correlates to what I'm doing now. And then along with that, and just being able to be coachable, when growing up, if I do something wrong on the field and I get told to not do that again, and I go up there and do it again, that's a problem. I think that's the same way for policing. If I get told, hey, you can't do that, you did this wrong, or think about this way, think about doing it this way, and I can change that for the next time that same situation comes around, I think that makes everything better, honestly. So I 100%, my sports background made me to where I'm at now, without a doubt in my mind.
I kind of feel like, I mean, every job, right? Our athletic or sport backgrounds are so useful. Like whatever kind of job you get into, specifically yours, Katie, where it requires so much athleticism. But I feel like just in any teamwork scenario, man, like drawing on those athletic backgrounds or sports experiences are so useful, and they're hard to teach some people, or people that don't have that type of background. It doesn't come, I don't think, quite as natural in a
No,
team setting when they get to a job sometimes. So yeah, I find it interesting for sure.
I I totally agree with you on that one, Coach. I think one of the things that Katie, Officer Katie, was talking about was like being coached. You know what I mean? And that is something that um, you have to have a certain kind of mindset and capacity of openness and reflection to be like, yeah, I did my best, but that might not be. It could have been better, or it could, maybe I did something wrong. That doesn't make the whole thing wrong. And like we all know some people who just can't take criticism, and they like they gotta take it personally. You know what I'm saying? It's like funny story. So I'm working with my daughter yesterday, trying to get her to play fetch with the dog. She really wants to play fetch. This is like summer related, but everybody in my class knows this is how I do. Right. So like she really wants to play fetch. We got a little blue launcher thing, I'm talking about, the little blue with the orange ball. And she's trying to throw it and it won't get off the ball. And she's like, she cries, and she finally gets the dog's attention and she tries to throw it and it doesn't throw. And then Nova walks away because she's all bored and she goes, she doesn't like me. Like, you are totally separate from the ball. Like it's nothing to do with you. She's not interested in anything right now. Relax. And like I feel like for me, it's like if you don't fix that stuff at 3, at 4 and 5, people will be like, yo, that teacher don't like me, yo. She gave me a D. Like, nah, man, you just turned in D work. Like that's what happened. You know what I mean? Back to topic, because that's what Theo does. Back to topic. Are you guys tested for fitness? Like after you pass the academy, do you guys get tested for fitness like regularly or anything?
no. So that's a big push right now with our administration is they want it to be tested. The issue is by our contract, by Nevada law, they can't force you to do these things, just because it's what's written in the law. And then also they have a bunch of issues, people getting hurt while working. But then they also goes to the point of making us test, and someone like pulls a hamstring while they're running. Um, So it just kind of goes with it. So right now, no, we're not required to. Just about everybody does work out. Every station has a gym. Just about every single person will go in before or after work. They'll go running or something like that. But all stations do have a gym, so they're used pretty well.
Do so most officers stay fit on their own, you would
Yeah.
say? is there like I guess I would call it programming. Is there like a program that you guys follow, or does everybody kind of do their own thing? Or
So just about everybody will do their own thing. A lot of people will go together. Like a lot of times as a squad, you'll usually work out together. So
oh,
whatever that person's doing, the other people usually join in and just do it with them, or kind of just superset it. Whatever someone's doing one thing, the other person will be doing it, and then they'll just switch off. A lot of times we'll go for a run. A lot of us like to go out with each other. Like we'll do like they have different activities, I guess you could say. Like there's paddle boat racings that we've done, like as like a department. There's also like some like 5Ks for like different charities that everyone will do. So just different things like that usually as a department, most of the people join in together to do.
gotcha. That's cool.
When you say squad, you have your partner, right? How large is a squad?
So it just depends. At Henderson, most people on the road aren't riding with someone unless they're in field training. However, the squads are going to be like whoever's on your shift. So usually there's about 12 people on a shift. On mine right now, we have 8 and plus our sergeant for 9. Where I'm on right now, though, we do ride together. But yeah, it just depends. So usually about 12, I would say, anywhere from like 9 to 12, 13, I think is on a shift usually, squad. Then you have a sergeant, then your lieutenant, and then a captain as well.
Cool. And you work kind of like midday to the night?
Yes, I work 2 to midnight.
Got ya. How do you like that shift? I feel like it's probably gotta starting to get busy at night, so it's probably like, I don't know, I feel like the energy would change for sure at night.
I love it. It's by far the best, I think. You have a little bit of everything. You get day, you get night. You don't have to wake up early, which is a huge plus. You don't have to go throughout the whole night. Last year I was on graveyard, and graveyard it killed me. It was just every night was 10 to 8 a.m. and it's a long night. So 2 to midnight's perfect. I mean, I'm usually gonna be up till midnight anyways on my days off. And that way I don't have to, like I said, day shift, they wake up at like 4 a.m. and that's not for me.
Oh man.
And that
Uh,
graveyard shift, it's like, don't you feel like you're just missing the world?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
90% of the world is on a different schedule than you, it feels like.
it's rough. I'd get home at 8:39 and I'd be asleep until like 5 p.m. Like my whole day's gone. So it was definitely difficult.
have you ever thought about? So I have a friend who's an officer in DC.
Hmm.
He was in the Capitol insurrection, that whole nine. Like he's like in there, right? And so I asked him. I was like, hey, consider him doing him for the interview. But I was like, I'd rather have somebody who's like works in the city, which the kids are in the community that we're all in. But he said that in DC, there's no physical requirements, none. They've made like a branding, a push, so that the community can see that anybody can be an officer. So like I guess the way that your station, the way that everybody is after they pass academy, that's how they are on the front end. So there's like no physical requirements at all. Do you think that there should be or could be? Is there ever any talk of like a national standard or anything like that? You ever heard
Yeah,
anything like that?
I feel like they're like for the most part, I feel like there's pretty much about the same standard. There's some places obviously going to be a little bit more. They might do a different test, but because I applied to a bunch of different departments, and just about every single one had some type of jumping involved, push-ups involved, and running involved. Um, Obviously, different numbers, different lengths, and everything like that. Like I did one in San Diego, and you do an obstacle course while you're wearing a vest, which was it was
Mm.
definitely eye-opening too for that. But
Oh
one
man.
every single place that I tested for at least had some type of physical fitness, but they were all pretty similar, like mile, sprint, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Um, do you think that oh man, I lost my train of thought what the question was gonna be. But I guess I'll just edit that out because I totally drew a blank right there. I had it and then I lost it.
I'll jump in, coach.
There you go.
How often do you work out, Officer Cochran? And then what's like a typical workout for you? I feel like that would be interesting for our kids.
So I like to do run. I'll do at least a mile, 2 mile run before I start, and maybe give myself a little bit of break. But then I'll do any type of. I do a lot of lifting, so I thoroughly enjoy doing legs and shoulders. So those are the stuff I usually focus on. I'm not the strongest on my bench, but I'll do some type of squat, then do like an RDL, some lunges, and then I usually will do some type of back exercise in there as well. Um, then I'll for another day like shoulders, I'll do any type of like an Arnold press, front laterals, all that type of stuff. And then I try and do and every single one of my workouts with because my upper body strength, like I said, isn't the best. Something I'm working on, but and every single one with some type of bicep, tricep, or push up.
And then about how many times a week do you work out?
I work out about 4 times a week.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're not always the most like strenuous workouts, but I try and do some type of physical activity, whether it's running, walking. I like to do sprints a lot. I like sprints a lot. Those are pretty fun. Anything like that, just like trying to get it going. I also like to do other like outdoor activities like snowboarding, hiking, stuff like that. Try and throw in a little different. Me and some friends will go to the park, we'll play football or play basketball. So just depends.
Yeah.
I feel like those sprints have to be so important, right? Because I feel like that's the most typical scenario that you would be in. Bad guy takes off and you got to like run after them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the kind of stuff, I'll speak for myself here. That's the kind of stuff I lose so quickly if you're not using it. Like I tease all the time, I can run forever, but I'm like a long, slow runner. And that's made me a really awesome, long, slow runner. But now ask me to sprint. I'm like, man, I'm so slow these days. So it's for sure. You don't use it, you lose it. So I feel like it's probably one of the most useful things for you guys.
Yeah, without a doubt. And my first ever foot pursuit, it was this guy took off on me, and I was just like focused on it, and I didn't even think about like the long run in it, and like I took gassed everything out. And I remember when I got to him, I was just gone. And after that, I was like, yeah, that's probably like the like most like uncomfortable I've ever felt because I'm gassed. I'm grabbing for him, and I can like barely even feel my arms.
Oh my
And so,
goodness.
like that at that point, I realized like how important me like keeping up my cardiovascular, sprinting, like doing some type of agility with it. Like if I'll like go and I'll like, jump up and down on like the curbs and stuff when I'm running and sprinting just to kind of keep like my legs loose and all that. Just random things here and there to like throw in. Because right after that he jumped a fence and it was just like, oh, like what I'm like. After that, I was like, I never want to feel that again. So I try to prepare as much as I can.
I feel like that totally ties into like the whole CrossFit and functionality, like the functional fitness of everything. You have to be able to jump a curb, jump a fence. You have to be able to move quickly from side to side, change directions, like
With 30
everything.
pounds on.
Yes. Yes, totally. That's
wild.
awesome.
All right. So we're in the last couple minutes of what we got planned. Okay. And so this is crazy question time. All right. So I'm going to ask you about anywhere between 5 and 7 crazy questions. I've been holding on to this little secret for a little while. I didn't tell Coach Ward about this part. And so you can say the first thing that comes to your mind or just tell us the truth. Okay.
Sure.
All righty. Speed round. Did you get tased?
Yes.
Woo! How'd that feel?
It hurt, and I never want to do it again. It was
Did you get? Well, it's a different question. Okay, I gotta go to the speed round. Did you get gassed?
not gas. Pepper sprayed though. Yes.
Pepper spray. There we go.
Yep.
I always get that confused. Pepper spray. How did that feel?
It was worse than getting tased.
Oh, did you have to get the milk in your eyes?
No, that doesn't help at all. Only thing that helps is just
No?
sitting in front of a fan with your eyes open and just trying to get it all
God.
out. The
How
second
long
you
did that?
shower, it reactivates. It's awful.
Oh, okay. That's oh man. Okay. Okay. Favorite exercise?
Squats.
Squats. That's a champion builder right there. Squats right there. You could pick what's the longest you've ever ran to chase after a person in estimate.
It was if to me it felt like 14 miles. In all reality, it was probably I would say it was probably maybe a quarter of a mile.
I can imagine that would probably be about the peak. I would think like if you can keep up a good 400, maybe
or that a criminal could run.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
I'm not trained for this. Last time you ran a 5K, what'd you run?
Like this pace or like
the whole total time.
Whole time was 26:50.
Nice. Fastest mile time ever.
6:45.
Barbell, kettlebell, dumbbell.
Dumbbell.
Okay. Front squat, back squat, goblet squat.
Back squat.
Basketball, football, baseball.
Baseball.
Come on,
Hawaii.
Coach. You knew she was going to choose baseball.
Right. Hawaii or Puerto Rico?
Hawaii.
There we go. Some homer questions in there. Do you guys have sports leagues?
We have these fire games and stuff like that, where it will be like against different police departments, fire departments, and stuff like that. And then also the city of Henderson does like a big corporate challenge. And so you're going against every other city of Henderson, or I'm sorry, you're playing with different city of Henderson departments, along with like Metro, Zappos, all sorts of teams in the area.
Who's more in shape? Your average police officer, your average firefighter?
Firefighters get to work out all day when they're at work. They're probably the firefighters.
Who's smarter, your average police officer or your average firefighter?
Police officers.
And last but not least, if you could meet any one person in the Earth's existence through all of time and have breakfast or brunch or whatever with that person for 1 hour, who would you meet?
Growing up, I really idolized Derek Jeter, so he's the first one that comes to my mind. So I think I would give just about anything to just meet him, honestly.
Yeah, he's like an American hero.
Oh yeah,
definitely. He's like obviously he's a decorated champion, so there's that. But in Baltimore, I grew up with Cal Ripken, so he was like the person who could do no wrong. Just like I think everybody's kid should strive to be like Cal Ripken Jr. You know what I mean? It's just Derek Jeter is a stud for sure. Well, that's it, man. Thank you for participating in Speed Round and our interview as a whole. I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, I personally appreciate what you do, you individually, and what your department does for the community. Henderson is definitely always recognized as one of the safest cities in America. But even just your profession and what you guys do for us, there's a lot of negativity surrounding other crazy stuff. But I know that what you do for our community cannot be replaced. And it's just amazing the risk that you guys are willing that you just put out for us any and every day. It is something that can never really be appreciated by a civilian.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate what you guys are doing too. You know, it's hard being teachers, coaching and stuff like that, especially with all the pandemic going on. I can't even imagine. It took me like 5 minutes to even figure out how to use Google Meet. So, truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having me. I truly, truly appreciate it so very much.
This has been so awesome, Officer Cochran. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And that's the end of our episode. We out. Okay. I'm going to stop recording and